ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಲಿನಿ ರಜನೀಶ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. A warm namaskara from Namma Bengaluru to all the distinguished guests participating in today's Global MSME Conclave. It's indeed my privilege to address this distinguished gathering of policymakers, investors, innovators, industry associations, and entrepreneurs who are shaping the future of enterprise and economic growth across the world. Micro, small, and medium enterprises are the true engines of inclusive development. MSMEs contribute not only to the economic output and exports, but more importantly, they create jobs, livelihoods, encourage innovation, strengthen local economies, and bring opportunities closer to people. They represent resilience, aspiration, and entrepreneurship in its most dynamic form. Today, as the global economy undergoes rapid transformation, driven by technology, sustainability, and changing supply chains, MSMEs are becoming increasingly important in building agile, competitive, and resilient economies. This conclave comes at a very significant moment. Across the world, businesses are reimagining manufacturing networks, digital commerce is opening new markets, and innovation is no longer limited to large corporations. Small enterprises with the right support, technology, and market access can now compete globally. This presents a tremendous opportunity for our MSMEs to scale up, innovate, and integrate into global value chains. Our government remains fully committed to creating a strong and enabling ecosystem for our MSMEs. We are focused on building a business environment that is transparent, efficient, technology-driven, and investor-friendly. We are continuously working towards simplifying the regulatory processes, improving ease of doing business. Phase 1 is over and we have stepped into phase 2. Providing faster approvals and digital services, expanding industrial infrastructure, enhancing logistics connectivity, and strengthening access to finance and skilling. A feedback and suggestion framework from FKCCI will be extremely useful for government to shape it further and fine-tune it. We recognize that the future competitiveness of MSMEs will depend on their ability to embrace technology and innovation. We are therefore encouraging enterprises to adopt digital platforms, automation, artificial intelligence, Industry 4.0 solutions, and e-commerce ecosystems. I'm very happy to inform you that the Department of E-Governance and ITBT have opened several AI centers of excellence which can be made use of by all our MSME partners. I'm also very happy to inform you that in collaboration with the banking sector, we have revamped our RUSETI training centers wherein digital capacity building is an important part. The future belongs to enterprises that are environmentally responsible and resource efficient. Green manufacturing, energy efficiency, circular economy practices, and sustainable supply chains are no longer an option. They are essential for our long-term global competitiveness. I'm happy to inform you that new solid waste management rules 2026 have come into place. This puts in a lot of responsibility on bulk waste generators, and we have more than 6,000 odd bulk waste generators. So if our MSMEs can focus upon the waste to wealth technologies and provide this to the bulk generators, waste generators, it will be a win-win scenario. I also implore our entrepreneurs to look at e-waste recycling. It is a very, very promising and enriching enterprise where we don't have much of competition right now. Since JSW is a partner here, I would like to inform you that the wastage of the steel plant in the form of steel slag has been converted into a quick fix pothole material, and which we have used in Bangalore and across the state during the rainy season very, very successfully. Therefore, there is a need for collaboration with our research and development wings and the entrepreneurs so that whatever research outcome is there, it is immediately translated into an economic enterprise. Our youth are our greatest strength, and I'm very happy to inform you that very recently the Department of Higher Education has launched the Campus to Career framework, which will be a part of the curriculum, which means that all our students will be employment ready. In this context, I once again implore all of you through the President of FKCCI to kindly share the requirement of jobs and skills at present and in the days to come with our education department so that and skill department so that we do your job in terms of preparing the employment roles for future. Apart from that, I also request the enterprises to provide a lot of apprenticeship opportunities to our students at different levels so that they learn on the job and they become your very, very productive partners or employees. I would also like to share some very important information about our Beyond Bangalore strategy. We have about 10,000 acres of land with Karnataka Industrial Area Development Board, which we are trying to develop as plug and play clusters. As you are aware, the MSME ministry provides about 3 crores of grant for MSME clusters, and we are proposing about 60 of them in the state. So if you can come up with a cluster around one technology or one product, it is going to be a game changer for the MSME development beyond Bangalore. I would like to take this opportunity to share the industry potential that we have identified across the state. I know some of the industry industry association partners are here from the districts, and I hope you are aware of this. If not, all the participants who are here in the global conclave must take it into account so that you hit the nail on the head. You go to that destination where the potential lies as per our study. To read a few, Bangalore Urban has fabrication and aerospace. Dakshin Kannada has medical equipment, FMCG food park. Belagavi has again medical equipment and drone cluster. Tumkuru looks for machine tools, food processing and auto components. Mysuru for EMC cluster, PCB park. Bellary and Vijayanagar for steel and mining. Shivmoga for foundries and pharma. Udupi for marine processing. Mandya for toys. Bagalkot for food processing. Dharwad, EMC cluster, SFAI cluster and auto components. Chikmagalur for coffee processing. Hassan for EMC cluster. Kalburgi textile and mineral processing. Vijayapura food processing. Davangere capital goods. Uttar Kannada food processing. Raichur mineral processing. Kolar gem and jewelry. Chitradurga oilseed processing. Ramnagara auto components. Bangalore rural auto components, aerospace and textile. Bidar pharma and food processing. Haveri food processing. Chikbalapur gem and jewelry. Koppal Toys, Chamrajnagar Food Processing, Gadag Auto Components, Yadgiri Food Processing and Pharma, Kodagu for coffee processing. Some of them in brief, where the extreme potential lies, the land is available, skill is available, raw material is available, all you have to do is plug and play. At the conclusion, I would say that governments alone cannot drive transformation. Industry, academia, financial institutions, technology providers, startups, and international partners must work together to create an ecosystem which supports the growth of MSME. This conclave provides an excellent platform for having dialogues, partnerships, knowledge exchange, business collaboration, and I'm sure the next 3 days are going to be full of enthusiasm and active cooperation, which can lead to very, very substantial outcomes in terms of MSME growth in Karnataka and across the globe. With this, once again, I thank all of you for giving me this opportunity. Let us move MSMEs from survival to scale, from local markets to global markets, and from aspiration to achievement. Thank you.
ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, now it's time to release of GST book. ಇದನ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಲಿನಿ ರಜನೀಶ್ ಅವರು ನೆರವೇರಿಸಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿ ವಿನಂತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
This is a great opportunity for our committee to work on updating the GST issues latest, and the books have been authored by my committee members who are chartered accountants, tax advocates, GST practitioners. We are very fortunate to release this book in this august presence of our Chief Secretary and of my team of FKCCI. God bless all of you. Our books are available in our FKCCI website. Please update yourself on GST issues. Anything you can talk to GST committee FKCCI 24/7, I can say. Thank you. God bless you.
All right, moving on. Now I request Mr. Owen Richards, Deputy Head of Mission, British Deputy High Commission, Bengaluru, to address the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the big round of applause, Mr. Owen Richards.
It's an honour to be here. Thank you very much for inviting the British Deputy High Commission in Bengaluru to speak at this important event. This is a momentous time in UK-India relations. Last year saw visits by Prime Minister Starmer of the UK to India and Prime Minister Modi to the UK, where they unveiled a revitalised partnership through the UK-India Vision 2035, an ambitious roadmap for growth, prosperity and security. The Prime Ministers also signed a landmark free trade agreement called the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, which will enter into force shortly. CETA is the biggest, most economically significant bilateral trade deal the UK has agreed since leaving the European Union. It is also one of the most comprehensive trade deals that India has ever agreed. CETA is expected to increase bilateral trade, already worth £47 billion a year, by £25 billion each year, and increase Indian and UK GDP by nearly £5 billion every year in the long run. It's a historic deal. 99% of UK tariffs and 90% of Indian tariffs will be liberalised. For India, that means 99% of its exports into the UK will get duty-free access from entry into force, supporting industries such as textiles, footwear and engineering goods. But CETA is not just about tariff reductions. It will minimize custom and regulatory burdens, making it easier to do business. It commits UK and Indian customs authorities to endeavour to release goods within 48 hours of arrival. It introduces new digital trade provisions that will make trade faster, simpler and more transparent. CETA also aims to reduce technical barriers to trades in goods whilst maintaining product safety and quality. It commits both countries to recognising conformity assessment procedures in specified sectors, enabling products to be tested and certified domestically before export, reducing overseas testing costs and delays. The CETA will further exploit complementarity between our two countries' manufacturing sectors, partnering India's workforce skills, scale and growth with UK technology, innovation and expertise.
In-depth of business knowledge, how we engage with international, I'm very impressed. We already met, 4 or 5 times, discuss about Korean value, Indian value. Now we have an MOU relationship with the FKCCI and with us. With all this value, what we are doing here is, I am a chairman and CEO of Wavio Global Group. We do investment and business development and technology transfer in here. And also, I'm an honorable ambassador to India and USA for Korea Federation of SME. It's called KBs. So from here, Korea and India, we have over 3,000 years of history of, engagement. One of Indian princess came to South Korea, married with a Korean prince, create a country called Gaya Kingdom. Gaya Kingdom, name I think after Buddha Gaya, in somewhere in the Buddha footprint. They built up the Buddhism country, kingdom in Korea 3,000 years back. So India and Korea, not only just the businesses, historically, culturally, religiously, a lot of things are engaged. And the princesses remain the last name, and the Korean, prince last name, still, even 3,000 years later, after now, they still cannot marry. Last name of Ho, last name of Kim, still cannot get married. These kind of, in-depth of history, culture, religion, and all are related. And also, Korea and India, we did an amazing, revolution and improvement we made after Second World War. Korea was the poorest country after Second World War. India as a friends and brother and sister, you guys helped us generic medicine, when Korea was very, very poor after Korean World War. And now Korea is one of the top 10 and only one country after Second World War entered into developed country officially UN certified. India also made amazing growth of the economy, now 4th largest GDP country in the world. With this, recently, Korean president visit India only a few weeks back. Then he said, in India and Korea, I think transaction is very low. So now his attention and concentration is how to make India and Korea more of transaction. He's actually giving a lot of pressure to ministry level, all his staff level to bring it to most important alliance between South Korea and Korea. With that, we are smart enough. We identify all these 30 states in India. Since we are also working with the Korean government, which is a Gyeonggi province, the most biggest and revitalize a state government like a Karnataka. So we propose to South Korean government, Gyeonggi province, that let's set up a technology and business incubation center in India, in Karnataka especially. With the Karnataka government's invitation, this happened.
Madam Umar Reddy, President FKCCI, all the distinguished guests, the industry leaders, member of FKCCI, fellow bankers, entrepreneurs and esteemed members of the MSME fraternity. It is indeed a pleasure to be here today at the FKCCI Global MSME Conclave 2026, a platform that brings together policymakers, industry leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs at a defining moment in India's economic journey. The theme of this conclave, the $10 trillion journey, Sankalp to Siddhi, is both timely and powerful because India's aspiration to become a $10 trillion economy is not merely an economic target, it is a national mission, a collective resolve, a transformational journey that will be shaped not only in the boardrooms and policy corridors but also in factories, workshops, startups, innovation tabs, and MSME clusters across the country. At the heart of this transformation stands the Indian MSME sector. Today, MSMEs contribute nearly one-third of India's GDP, account for around 35% of manufacturing output, drive close to half of the country's exports, and provide employment to more than 32 crore people across over 7 crore enterprises. These are not just statistics, they represent livelihoods, aspirations, innovation, resilience, and entrepreneurial courage. MSMEs are not the small part of India's economy, they are the backbone of India's economy. As India advances towards the next phase of growth, Karnataka stands uniquely positioned at the center of this transformation. With a GSDP growth rate of around 8%, a state economy exceeding rupees 32 lakh crore, and a contribution of nearly 9% to India's GDP, Karnataka has emerged as one of the strongest growth engines of the new India. But more importantly, Karnataka represents the future of modern industry. Engineering today is no longer confined to traditional manufacturing. It is increasingly defined by the convergence of precision manufacturing, intelligent software, AI, automation, digital systems, aerospace innovation, and advanced design capabilities. Bengaluru exemplifies this convergence like few cities in the world. The city today hosts more than 1,500 global capability centers, nearly 40% of India's total GCC ecosystem. It contributes significantly to India's AI innovation landscape, houses one of the country's largest technology talent pools, and accounts for nearly 65% of India's aerospace and defense output. This convergence of GCCs, AI, advanced engineering, and manufacturing creates a historic opportunity for Karnataka's MSMEs to integrate into global value chains and not merely as vendors, but as innovation partners and strategic suppliers. Particularly in sectors such as aerospace, defense and manufacturing, electronics, precision engineering, EV ecosystems, and industrial automation, MSMEs have the opportunity to evolve from local enterprises into globally competitive institutions. At the same time, we must acknowledge that the global business environment today is becoming increasingly complex. Geopolitical uncertainties, supply chain disruptions, volatile energy prices, fluctuating currency movements, and tightening global financial conditions are creating new pressures on businesses worldwide. This is where the role of the financial institutions become critical. As the country's largest bank and the banker to every Indian, State Bank of India remains deeply committed to strengthening the MSME ecosystem through responsible credit support, digital innovation, sector-focused financing, and long-term partnership. Today, SBI is among the largest MSME lenders in the country with a balance sheet size exceeding rupees 109 trillion. Our approach goes beyond traditional lending. We are increasingly building sector-specific and cluster-based financing models across industries, such as electronics, auto ancillaries, machine tools, textiles, food processing, aerospace, and defense manufacturing. ECLGS 5.0 has emerged as an important support mechanism for MSMEs facing liquidity pressures arising from global uncertainties, input cost volatility, and working capital stress. By enabling timely credit to valuable businesses, the scheme has helped several enterprises stabilize operations, sustain employment, and maintain growth momentum during a challenging economic environment. In Karnataka itself, SBI has already sanctioned rupees 400 crore under ECLGS 5.0 within a short span of the scheme being rolled out.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.